Thanks for staying up later. Now, Larry, and I just call you Larry now. I figure if someone watching doesn't know this is Larry King, they're turning it off already.
Yeah. Okay, Bob.
How many times have you been on the show?
I guess this is, what, 6 or 7?
6 or 7. So we're running out of ideas. We've gone through Larry's life story, but the last time you were here, we closed the show with a little challenge. Remember what it was?
I do. My challenge was that my wish would be that I would do a show in which a curtain opens and the guest comes out, and that's where we discover the guest. I would like to do a show like that every night. No preparation, total off the wheel. And you said you thought you could do that too. And so we had a little challenge wherein I would bring a guest that you don't know, you bring a guest that I don't know, and you got to interview him cold, or her cold. And tonight's the night.
Okay, whoever this guest is, he or she has been sequestered. I have not seen the person.
That's right.
I'll interview the person cold. Larry will sit down.
I'll move over there and watch.
And then after the commercial, I'll bring someone out that you haven't seen, and boom.
I can comment, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
The only clue I'll give you is he's a former ball player. Now, that should make it easier for a sports fan, right? Okay, the governor of New York, Mario Cuomo.
Governor Cuomo?
Okay.
There we go.
Heard the challenge?
What is the challenge?
He's going to interview you and do a great job.
He's going to do a great job of an interview without any preparation. Okay.
The governor of New York, Mario Cuomo.
Right, so far.
So far, I've got the introduction. I've got the introduction down. Mm-hmm. What is the single most pressing issue facing the United States of America today?
I have no idea.
You have no idea at all. And yet you're the governor of New York. You've more or less finessed it then, to this point. No grasp of issues of any kind.
Not really, no.
What would you say it is then, with this obvious lack of depth, obvious lack of interest in and grasp of the issues, that led you to be elected? You're mystified by your own success.
I am, really.
And you know, that so often happens. We don't believe in ourselves as much as the public does. And so even the most successful people remain insecure because they are not convinced that they deserve this success.
Okay, he got you. He said, he said to me before, is this like a contest? I said, yeah. He says, hey, I'll be terrible. You did great, though, Bobby.
I suspect he's going to bring somebody out you never heard of.
I would like that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
In this sense, you brought out a big name. But he's been on the show. He's been on your show many times. Been on this show a couple of times.
Go ahead. But you didn't know he was coming. So
didn't know he was coming. What is the most pressing issue facing the country today?
You know, I think really the irony of the '92 election was that Dan Quayle put his finger on the right issue and distorted it with that silly Murphy Brown reference. And then the second day of the Republican convention made it all worse. The issue is values. What do you believe in as a country? What's important to you? We know we believe in opportunity, we believe in responsibility, we believe in liberty. Do we believe in community, family, or individuality? Do we really believe we all ought to kick in for the benefit of everybody? You know, that notion, what is it? What is the American character? You know, all this confusion, all this anger, where's the drugs coming from, the violence coming from? In the end, the basic question is, what are we as a people? I think that's the basic issue. We're not talking a lot about it. We're skipping it and getting to deficit, debt, violence, crime. But the basic issue is, what are we as a people?
There's a line of thinking that goes something like this. Just as it took an old red baiter like Nixon to go to China in the early 70s, it's going to take someone on the left side of the political spectrum to talk about values, to talk about individual responsibility, so that it's clear to people it's not being used as some kind of political club or as a veil for resentment of minorities or whatever.
It's going to take, you know what I think will happen next? I don't think it's going to happen politically. I think you're going to have the Rush Limbaughs of the world, whom I don't know, but who tend to stress negativism, individuality, and somebody is going to have to be his counterpart. Somebody like you or Larry has to get up there and do the other side of it, which is individuality is great, but unless you have community, unless you have family, the place doesn't work. Negativism, you know, that's fashionable at the moment. Everybody's down. Everybody takes shots. Everybody's a scapegoater. But you've got to be positive. Any jackass can kick down a barn. Only a good man or woman can build one. You know, Sam Rayburn and Jimmy Wright using that line. And you don't have that now in the media. the talking heads in the media now, who are regular national spokespeople, are basically negativists. You need a counterpart, somebody who can tell the other side of the story. And then out of that clash, the American people will sit, and after a while they'll say, hey, I'm uncomfortable with the negativism. I like this other guy or gal. She's strong, she's firm, but she's positive. I like that. It's better. I'm more comfortable with that. I think that's what's going to happen before it happens in politics. And then the politicians will see it works. See what's happening now. The politicians see that Rush works. So that's the way they get. Everything is scapegoating and fault-finding, etc.
Can there ever be a true national discussion in a presidential campaign anymore? Or has it all been reduced to sound bites and slick advertising strategies?
You guys, I mean, you're joking here today, but you guys are extraordinary talents at dialogue. And what's happened in the last, I don't know, since CNN, I guess, is that this country has gone more to intelligent dialogue than it ever did. I mean, I don't know how much money King made in the last campaign, you know, but they ought to pass a special tax law to get it. What happened on Larry King was that you, with Ross Perot and all the others, we had more dialogue in this country politically than we ever had before. But it's still not point-counterpoint the way it should.
Exactly. Goldwater is fond of telling the story of how he and Kennedy were looking forward to the '64 presidential race, and they were going to more or less barnstorm together. And one guy would go first in Des Moines, and the other guy would go first in Omaha, and they'd take point-counterpoint. First of all, would that be possible today? Yeah. And secondly, if you were running for president, who would you most enjoy jousting with?
Oh, jousting, I'm not a jouster. I'm a lover and a conciliator. I don't like combat. I would rather cerebrate than fulminate. I really would. But
wouldn't we all?
You know, here's an interesting thing. Some of the stations, I don't remember all the call letters or the networks, but if they're going to be negative, you know, radical, conservative talk show, they're all that way. WABC, I guess, in New York City is a little bit like that. You know, they got all the negative voices. I don't know why it doesn't work on a radio station to have negative, positive, negative, positive.
To make a radio station like the op-ed page of a good newspaper.
Well, yeah, because what's happening now is the people who want to hear just that one side, they stay tuned all day, I guess, and they go from Ed, Koch, you know, to whatever else is there. Why couldn't you break it up, see, and get the point-counterpoint in the same place so that you get more or less the same people? Maybe that's naive. Maybe it doesn't work out that way.
Assuming that Clinton is renominated in '96, it would be the year 2000 before you could run for president again. You might be too old at that point. Have you reconciled yourself to the fact that the ship has that ship sailed for Mario Cuomo?
Yeah, I never even tried to book passage on it, so I didn't, you know.
Yeah, but you were on the dock with a boarding pass, really. I mean, it was like you were lunging back and forth.
No, I was just practicing my nominating speech. That's all I was doing.
Heavy stuff. This is getting heavy.
Has the ship sailed?
I doubt very much that in my lifetime there'll be an opportunity for me to run for president. But I don't have any regrets about that. I have already 3 terms as governor. That's more than I ever dreamt possible when I was growing up in this town. So I'm way ahead of the game and very grateful.
What's the best contribution you could make after you leave the State House?
Talking and pushing and promoting discussion of the issues you and I have just talked about. What is the American character? What should it be? Getting to the sweeter, stronger part of the American nature, because it's not showing now the way it should.
Who on the Republican side can help to shape that debate?
Howard Baker was the kind of guy who could do it very, very well.
Kemp?
Jack Kemp has the potential for it because Jack is a positive thinker, and there is not any of the harshness to him that you find in some of the other radical conservatives.
5 seconds. If they asked you to be commissioner of baseball, would you take it? Former minor league ball player?
No, I would suggest you, Bob, if they asked me.
We'll take a break. Back with Larry King and a mystery guest. In a minute, our thanks to the governor of New York, Mario Cuomo. All right, we're back. We've switched seats. For those of you just joining us, the challenge continues. Larry brought out a guest. It happened to be the governor of New York, Mario Cuomo. I didn't know who the guest would be. Interviewed him for 8 minutes. Now it's my turn. Surprise guest for Larry King. The person can come from any walk of life, and Larry will have 8 minutes cold, live to tape, to interview this person. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Larry, I'd like you to meet Meatloaf. Meatloaf, say hello
Hi, Larry.
to Larry King.
How you
How
doing?
are you?
Good, good. How you doing, Larry? I know nothing about politics.
And I
have
know
no
nothing
idea.
about cooking.
But I do. That's okay. But I do want to be commissioner of baseball. By the way.
Meatloaf,
Yes, Larry.
what's your real name?
Larry, I can't believe you're going to ask me that question.
Try. I'm
I
doing
know.
my best.
That's it.
Why
that's
did you
it.
pick
Bob's
Meatloaf?
interview was great.
What? Yeah, I thought he was.
Bob's interview was fantastic.
I brought a normal guest. I brought an Italian governor who is verbal.
Well, that's
he brings
okay.
me a
I'm
rock
very-
star, and the last rock star I know is George Shearing.
George Shearing.
Plays piano, blind guy.
Really?
Him I
Really?
could
Yeah,
understand.
understood.
Cuomo says to me, you'll know him, but you won't recognize him.
That's
do you
what
mean
he
by
just
that?
said to
Yeah.
me. He just said
Why
that
did
to
you
me.
pick that name?
What name?
Meatloaf.
Cuomo? I didn't. He did. Meatloaf. I didn't pick
I tell you
it.
what.
Should I
Can
tell you?
Can I surrender?
See, it was good. It was good, Bob. I'm not sure Bob won.
Okay.
So
So let's go right
no,
in the
let me
start.
just tell
Okay.
you this story first. Let me
Okay,
just
go
tell you this
ahead,
story. I
Meat.
didn't pick it. Lamar Hunt picked it. You know who Lamar Hunt
Sure
is,
do.
right? Well, because Lamar Hunt found me after I had been lost for 5 days in Wyoming. He was elk hunting in Wyoming. And he found me in a cave. And I was in a state of shock. And the only thing, when they asked me who I was, the only thing I could say was Meatloaf. So as he put me on the horse and drug me back into civilization. Now you want me to I want you to believe that,
This
right?
well, it opens up lots of territories.
It
How
does.
old were you?
I was 5. I
What-
would have been in a plane with Chip Piper.
You know, I don't work this late and normally live. Have you been on Bob's show?
No, never.
You've never been on this show?
No. But I
Right.
did an interview with you.
A long time ago,
That's
Meat,
right.
and I didn't know who you were then.
Well, that's but the interview then was a lot better than this one now.
Well, I'm trying to get it organized, Meat. You know, I realized something. First, as soon as he said Meatloaf,
Yeah.
I knew, one, I'm a loser. Okay, so that's hard to take.
How do you figure
Because
that? I'm like one of the best interviews in the world.
I asked you for your real name, you say no.
No, it's just
How did you get your name? You were a
I was
5-year-old.
trying to. I was
Lamar
trying-
Hunt found
I
you.
was trying to. What I was trying to do was I was trying to get you to ask me a better question than what's your real
Okay,
name.
all right.
I mean, geez,
I'm
you
trying
know?
to figure out how they list this in
Listen,
the paper.
the ninth
Mario
grade-
Cuomo, Meatloaf.
The ninth. No, I get top billing. What do you mean, Mario Cuomo, Meatloaf, Mario Cuomo?
Okay, now,
Come on.
let me show you how much I know, right?
Okay, go.
You're back now. What brought you back? Where were you and what brought you back?
A limousine and all this.
Yeah.
No, there we go. Sorry, no. What brought me back?
Yeah, 'cause you
I
were
like
disappeared
doing
for a
it.
while.
I mean,
But where did you go when you left?
I just kept working. I'm just not a, I'm not, never have been into really being famous too much. You know, it's like sort of into doing my work.
But you were famous.
But I
Not
didn't
famous.
like being famous. I'm not really crazy over being famous.
Why not?
Just because it comes with too much baggage. It's just like I wouldn't want to be governor because, I mean, he leaves here and he has to walk out there. And, you know, he's got 2 television cameras and 6 reporters all talking to him, so they want to talk to him all the time. So I don't like that so much.
So you like
but I
the-
enjoyed this. I wanted to come here today because I wanted to see if Bob, because I said, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I said, Bob doesn't stand a chance against Larry King. But
Hey. First of all, I should have understood. This is his territory.
that's right. That's
However,
right.
if you let
But
me
know, but
continue,
yeah,
so far we're on a roll.
Wait a minute. Who's interviewing who? If I let you continue, aren't I supposed to talk? Oh, I
Once
haven't
you
understood.
choose a field in which you know you will sing, you know that the end result will be fame if you're good at it, right?
Yeah, that's true. But I
You had to
don't. But
accept
I'm not.
that.
But I'm not. I accept that. But I don't particularly enjoy that part of it.
Now back to the original. When
Okay.
you sort of disappeared for a while,
Yeah.
you continued to work,
Oh yeah.
just didn't have hit records?
Well, not in America. I had big hit records in overseas. I know everybody says it. Oh, he's big in Europe. But we did. I mean, I had a duet with Cher in 1981 that was like really enormous, and then a few moderate hits.
What brought you back now? Why are we reading more about you now?
Susan Blonde, the publicist.
No, I mean, have you had a hit record?
Yes. Yeah.
And
yeah.
that was or is?
I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. It was number 1 in It's been number 1 in 20 countries. Number 1 in America for.
Costas
know.
knows this song, right? No, I'm just
I'll do
saying-
anything for love, but I won't do that.
That's right.
Wait a minute, hold it. The name of the song is I'll Do Anything for Love.
But I won't do that.
Oh, I thought But I Won't Do That was a kind of a lead into my next question.
No.
Oh, I
That's
see.
the name
That's
of the song.
whole name of the song.
That's it.
I see an opening here, Larry. Pounce on it.
Yeah, that's right. Won't do what?
There you go, pal.
Let's see. So the two most asked questions of me in my entire life have been, what's your real name and what won't you do? So it's whatever you won't do is my answer. I have an answer. See, I could be a politician, too. I have all these stock answers ready to go at any given moment.
Other aspects, because we have 2:45 left, and I'm trying to keep
Really?
the time here. And I
Okay.
know I've already lost
No,
some.
you
know,
haven't lost. You still got the opportunity to come back.
I don't
No.
mind losing, because,
you're in
hey,
the-
second
it's
to
the fourth
Costas ain't
quarter.
bad. But if you got, but it's okay, because there's a certain thing about when you know you're losing. You can go any way you want.
You're
right?
in the
That's right.
2-minute drill now, Larry.
Who is your barber?
Who's my barber? I don't think I've ever had a barber. And if I did, it was when my dad took me to
Oh,
a
so you
barber.
don't
Now,
want-
who cuts my hair now is the singer, Patty Russo.
In the group.
Yeah, she's the
You
girl
don't want
singer.
fame.
No.
You don't go to a barber.
No.
How do you see yourself at age, say, 65?
How do I see myself at age 65?
what would you be doing?
I don't know. I don't see myself
An
being
aging
different.
meatloaf.
Oh, that's all right. But what song? See, everybody thinks Meatloaf's
Well
a funny
done.
name. No, wait. Everybody thinks Meatloaf's a funny name. Now, let's just think about that. We have a president whose name is the front of a duck. Bill. Get it? Larry. Larry, the
I get
front
it.
of a duck. Bill.
I get it,
Bill.
Mr. Loaf.
Okay.
But
no, but it's not.
It's a stretch.
It's not a stretch. When you see a duck, you go, oh, what do you,
Okay,
these lips?
when you write down a passport, you're going somewhere.
That's right.
You write down, they say first name you write meat,
Mm-hmm.
second name
Good.
you write loaf.
That's right. Good. You got it right. It's 2 words.
Okay,
Thank
do people call you Mr. Loaf?
They do. Clive Barnes, New York Times, is the first person to ever call me Mr. Loaf when I did Shakespeare in the Park for Joe Papp with Raul Julia.
You did Shakespeare with Raul Julia?
Sure
What play?
did. I did Othello and I did As You Like It. I played Rodrigo in Othello.
Would you like to be an actor?
Oh, I've done, how many films? How many films have I done, Bob? Do you remember?
It's his interview.
Oh, that's right. It's 17, 18 movies, 5 Broadway plays, I don't know, 15, 20 off-Broadway.
You wouldn't mind then if you were never famous again. If you continued to work and played the Ramada
Yeah,
Inn,
that's, well,
that
I
would be
didn't
all
say I
right.
wanted to play the Ramada Inn. I've never been one that want to go to the Ramada Inn and play.
No, but fame brings you the large auditorium.
Yeah, to a point, but I mean, people have said to me, well, where have you been all this time? Meanwhile, I have been playing theaters and arenas all over the world for the last 7 years, and people still continue to ask me, where were you?
I got to admit, in closing, getting you was a great coup for Costas. Total flip out for me. So the only...
But now,
One
I'm
more
going to
question.
come and be on your show, though.
Okay, you will, but one more question.
Okay, I'm
What's
ready.
the most important issue facing this country?
Well, in the words of Governor Cuomo, I have no idea.
I have no idea. We'll be back with our remaining moments on Later, I Think. Don't go away. Meatloaf.
Seated between Larry King and myself is the dean of talk show hosts. Wouldn't you agree, Larry?
The Dean.
How many years in television for you, Joe Franklin?
I would say, as a TV legend, 43 years.
43 years as a TV legend. Just a generic
began as a
TV guy before that, huh?
Right.
Certainly in the New York area, and in recent years with the advent of cable and WOR being a superstation, a television legend, Joe Franklin. You had a late-night talk show before there was The Tonight Show or anything like it, right?
I just
Here
felt,
locally in New York.
a little bit of burnout, a little bit of getting stale. I wanted to go down the same time when Johnny Carson went. I figured that would be the media blitz of the century. I couldn't, but I had to do another year.
Didn't you tell me you discovered Larry King?
Larry was my anchorman many times with Steve and Edie, right? Remember those shows?
He
And
brought me on his shows.
it was great. Larry
There's
was
no show like doing the Joe Franklin show.
right.
No show like doing it.
Because, he'd have you on, and then he'd have some guy who was on the second bill over at the Holiday Inn in Piscataway.
That's right.
The dancing dentist, the man who whistles through his nose.
And wait till this is a wonderful album, and you'll love him.
Right.
And Steve Lawrence is whispering to me, "Why are we here?"
And I was watching. Who was chatting with Mario Cuomo? Bob.
Bob did Cuomo.
Yeah, so who better, the premise here, who better to critique our
That's right.
respective
Here's a
efforts
critique
than
of-
Joe Franklin?
What-
So
what- like-
we have a minute and a half. Go ahead.
There was so much noise in the Purple Room, but he was talking about the talk show host that is so negative, and I would have been a little. I mean, instead of making it sort of a platform and validating what somebody says, I would have. I mean, these Bob Grants or these Rush Limbaughs, they're giving vent to the population's bile and frustration and what they've got to contain and stifle. So I was saying to myself that if everybody on TV, I would have told Mario, I would have said, well, people don't want a talk show host who's just going to flatter and butter up. People, you know, you gotta
All right,
go.
so hand out the grades. King with Meatloaf.
I would have said that he had the third biggest selling album in the history. After Michael Jackson's 2, he came third. I would give him a little more of a build-up.
What album?
I forget the name of the title. It's about teenage hormones running wild, about what you do in the back. In the back
Is
seat.
this for real?
Yeah,
Meatloaf
Bat
had
Out of Hell.
Yeah.
Bat Out of Hell?
Bat
was
Out.
his third- You knew this?
In the history of the world.
How did you know this?
I'm a rock and roller. But how, so far as, how do you critique the 2 highest...
I'm down
rated-
2-0.
How do you
I don't know
critique...
who I am.
Larry, don't feel bad, because 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
How do you critique the...
That's a Meatloaf song,
How do
Larry.
you critique the 2 highest regarded talk show hosts in the world?
Who won?
Would you gentlemen...
Who won?
I would say me. No, I would say it's a toss-up. I would say...
A toss-up. By the way, we taped this with Mario Cuomo's announcement, yay or nay, about running for governor pending, and by the time this aired,
We know what it is.
who knows? So you know what I criticized myself for? I should have said to him, why didn't you run? And then, why did you run? Let him give both answers, both rationales, and then we could have left it
And
that
I
way.
should have
That's
asked
what I should have
I
done.
should have asked Meatloaf how he got in that cave.
But down deep, you're so folksy, and you're confrontational, and you're inquisitorial, and you're great, and I'm proud to know you both.
Say see you later.
See you later.
See you later.